This video gives information on the differences between landlords and tenants. It was created by the University of Missouri Agricultural Business and Policy Extension Program as part of a series to help landowners and farmers better use agricultural leases. Agricultural leasing often evokes the image of a younger farmer using the land or the equipment of an older retired farmer. This simplistic view of using the land can obscure what each person offers and seeks in agricultural leasing. Understanding the experiences and the goals of both tenant and landlord gives insight into the ways to create and manage effective leases. Farmers, or prospective farmers, seek to control assets so that they can produce their business's products and services. Those who rent property from landowners are frequently called tenants. Legal documents might refer to tenants as lessees. Tenants seek land, equipment, buildings, even animals to use and further their farming enterprise. Farmers seek assets to rent for several reasons. Owning might be the farmer's long-term objective, but often renting is the best option available for starting, expanding, and maintaining a farming enterprise. One common reason for renting is that desired assets often are not for sale. The only way to control the productive asset is to rent it. If the desired property is for sale, the purchase price may exceed the farmer's financial resources. The farmer may not have sufficient cash for the purchase and may be unable to borrow sufficient cash, or simply has other demands for the cash on hand. On the other side of the lease from the farming tenant is the landlord or the landowner. Legal documents will refer to them as lessors. They are individuals who, for various reasons, have property that they are not using and therefore can lease it to others. Different landlords bring different experiences, strengths, goals, and dreams to the leasing situation. A large portion of landlords have previously farmed the land but are not actively farming it now. They may be retired or have, for some other reason, decided to no longer farm a particular piece of land. These landlords know both the farm and the business of farming. They have planted, tended, and harvested on the land they are leasing out. They have a history with it. They also understand farming in general and will have ideas and experiences of value to the tenant. They may even be interested in helping the tenant during some of the busy times. Non-operating landlords have more than just the property to offer to tenants. Another large portion of landlords are the children or spouse of the former active farmer. Children and spouses may have had non-farming careers for many years. These landowners know their farms well, but may be less aware of the business of farming. They have memories of the great harvest 20 years ago and haying in the summer. They are aware that the backside of the farm has flooding problems and when the terraces were installed to control erosion. These landlords likely have an emotional interest in the land that comes from having lived with it for years. But they may be less likely to participate in farming decisions the tenant is making. They want to maintain a relationship with the farm, and they seek a tenant who will care for the farm and communicate regularly with them. Some landowners own land with which they are only mildly familiar and may have little understanding of agriculture as a business. Some have inherited the land. Others may have purchased land purely as an investment to lease out. These landlords are more difficult to define because their objectives range from the very emotional, as a child I spent every Thanksgiving on this farm, to purely financial, this is where I have invested $500,000. It is important for the tenant to get to know the objectives of these landowners so that she can take them into consideration as she farms the land. Over time, property ownership changes from one person to another. The tenant may find a different owner brings significant changes to renting the same property. Location may influence the prevalence of each category of landowners. Over 50% of Iowa landowners have farmed the land. Arkansas has the largest percentage of landlords who have never farmed. A tenant renting several different fields may have leases with different types of landlords. The differences in the individual contracts may be due, in large part, to the differences between the landlords. Both tenants and landlords benefit from understanding what the other party is bringing to the table. Each brings different experiences and goals. The landlord-tenant relationship is one that contributes to the success of leasing agreements. That relationship benefits from communication and transparency.